Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be, this is when it all started. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So this is when it all started. It's when you first met the narcissist. Maybe you just were new in a city and you had just landed from an airplane ride and the narcissist picked you up. Maybe it was somebody when you were attending university. It was a romantic interest that turned into a relationship, which turned into a marriage, and here we go. Maybe you were born into the narcissistic relationship. Maybe it was a neighbor. Perhaps it was a colleague. Maybe it was a alleged best friend. When it all started, there's a pivotal point in your life when the narcissistic relationship, the seed was planted. And this is when you go back to this period of time so frequently, and you wonder if you had taken a left turn instead of a right, if you had not been at that exact location at that exact moment, would you have met the narcissist? Is there any way any of the past could have been changed, etc.? Well, I will let you know that no, you can't change the past. You need to learn from the past. You need to not predict the future, and you need to live in the present moment. But back then, when it all started, there was some twist of fate that led you to meet the narcissist. Maybe, example, you were at a birthday party of a mutual friend of the narcissist, but you did not know the narcissist was a narcissist because you didn't even know who they were. So you attended this birthday and you were celebrating a friend of yours' birthday, and then lo and behold, what happens? The person who turned out to be a narcissist enters the room, and you two had never met eyes before. You had never laid eyes on each other, and next thing you know, you two are interested in each other, and one thing leads to another, and a month or two goes by and you're now in a romantic relationship. Well, what happened there? That was circumstance. You were someplace where you were supposed to be celebrating a trusted friend's birthday, and the narcissist was there also. Perhaps they went there a little late, but when your paths crossed and your eyes met, you perhaps were enamored with this person who turned out to be the narcissist. And what were they doing? They were looking at you and sizing you up. They were figuring out what they could do to draw you in more and more. But that moment in time, you can't take back, you can't change it. It happened. And then lo and behold, you entered the narcissistic relationship, then one thing led to another, and here you are now on the channel and in the community getting the wisdom and getting your cup full and paying it forward. But remember, if you think that you could have avoided the narcissistic relationship, you couldn't have. You had to go through that relationship to get to this point in time right here, right now with me, just like I had to go through it. Now, one more time, if the narcissist walked up to you and gave you a 2-page report and said, this is who I am, this is what I've done to people before you, and this is what I will do to you, and actually after I've gotten everything out of you that I want, I will do it the same thing to you and to people after you, because I will discard you. This is what the narcissist thinks. The narcissist looks at people as opportunities. They look at people that they can manipulate and they can fool, and they look at people as ways that they can trap them in that narcissistic zombie-like trance-like state, the narcissistic fog. This is where you were existing for most of that relationship. The narcissistic abusive cycle goes around in a loop, and it begins with the love bomb / euphoric stage when you believe that this person or this relationship, it's so amazing, like where has this person been your whole life? And then after the narcissist sinks their dirty fangs into you and they begin to place you in that devaluation stage, or that's where they throw you in the deep end of the cesspool of destruction and manipulation. That's when they begin to extract all of your resources, time, money, energy, effort, love, empathy, everything, your relationships, your jobs, your hobbies, what makes you you. And then again, as they have you placed in that cesspool of abuse, they are looking for your replacement, the next new shiny object. Remember, at one point you were the new supply, and the new supply now, after you, they believe they just found gold. Well, they found fool's gold. They found nothing, a mineral that's worthless. They found a human body, a human person with no substance or core to them. The exterior may look promising, but the interior, there's nothing. They're hollow, they're shallow, they're empty. They need to steal from other people. But then the third part of the narcissistic abusive cycle is when it ends, whether you were discarded or if you ended it yourself. Either way, my heart goes out to you because you were in that relationship. And then at times, the fourth part of the narcissistic abusive cycle will be a Hoover. Never accept a Hoover. It's when the narcissist is trying to test the temperature of you or a person, and they're trying to see if that person is healed or if they're strong enough to break the trauma bond and to go no contact, etc. But where it all started and where it all began, it was a pivotal moment in your time. Maybe it was a job. You got hired for a new job, and you were perhaps a person who was rubbing elbows with the higher echelon, the bosses or the people in charge. Well, one of these people looked at you and they saw you and they said, wait, this person's doing an amazing job at work. What can I get them to do outside of work for me personally? Example, turn them into an unpaid helper, and turn them into a sounding board, and turn them into a pawn or a puppet. You see, the narcissistic relationship, it completely doesn't have to be the romantic relationship. The narcissist can be your mom or your dad or your sibling or your boss or your colleague or coworker, or it can be a person in a religious organization who is hiding behind the cloak or the veil of the religious beliefs. The narcissist is everywhere. They're hiding behind uniforms of people that you perhaps looked up to in the past. They're hiding behind certain organizations and facilities and communities. But the narcissist wants to blend in, and what they want to do is they want to sabotage people's lives. They want to infiltrate their lives. They want to insidiously creep into their lives and eventually overtake the mind of the target. And the mind of the target, when this person is in the trauma bond and they're thinking about the narcissist morning, noon, and night, that is when the narcissist has done most of their work. Breaking the trauma bond is something that you will have to do if you haven't done it. I did it. If I did it, you can do it. But to do it, you'll have to be patient with yourself, stoic, calm, centered, focused, resilient, and understand that the narcissist did not have your best interest at heart in the past. They certainly don't now, and they won't in the future. They wanted to take you for a ride into that devaluation stage, on that roller coaster of emotions going up and down and all around, the whole time keeping you thinking that things would improve, keeping you thinking that they were who they said they were, which was an honest, authentic, genuine person, and nothing could be further from the truth. And the narcissist wanted to continue to feel important to you. You see, the narcissist needs to be needed, and they need to be needed by everybody, by anyone they encounter, and they need to feel important, and the narcissist needs to feel entitled, and the narcissist needs to devalue people. The narcissist needs to triangulate people, my least favorite thing these people do. The narcissist, when they can take a beautiful, bright, shining light like you and capture you for a period of time and keep you repressed so you don't have a voice, so you are silenced, and so you're working for the narcissist because you're trying to get back to that love bomb / euphoric stage. When they have somebody in that space, that person is extremely vulnerable, and they don't know where they are, and they're being messed with and toyed with and manipulated and abused day in, day out, week after week, etc. But what happens usually for people on the channel and in the community specifically is something breaks, something snaps. That narcissistic relationship, it had to end because these relationships all have an expiration date. We now know that. But the narcissist was trying to break that relationship. You may have thought that they were trying to build it and maintain it with you. They probably lifted a finger, maybe in the very beginning. Notice I said a finger. And then after they knew they had you, then they began to try to devalue you and take as much from you as they possibly could the whole time while you were working on the relationship and putting out the fires that they were starting. But the narcissistic relationship, when it ends, there is a huge void for the person who is not the narcissist, which is you, and it definitely was me. The void is a place where I created a few videos on it, one when I was in it and one I believe last year, but the void is a place that time slows down for you because you no longer have all of the roller coaster of emotions that you had when you were in the narcissistic relationship. It's almost as if it's too quiet, if you will, because when you were in the narcissistic relationship, it wasn't quiet. You were being silenced, but the relationship took you super high and it dropped you super low. You never knew when the next shoe would drop. You never knew when the next fire would be started that you would have to put out. Now, when that relationship ends, and it usually ends with a thud, a crash, a bang, it's not a pleasant experience to go through the discard, to say the least. But then again, going through the narcissistic relationship is very daunting and challenging. But when it ends and you have to really realize that no one is going to knock on your door and no one's going to come check in on you, and the narcissist is long gone because they've moved on to the new supply, and now you're being parental alienated, you're not seeing your children or stepchildren, the smear campaign is well underway. Everything around you is blowing up: your health, your money, your time, your energy, your focus, your job. So many things have fallen apart because the narcissist made sure that they would inflict as much damage upon you as they possibly could. But when that happens, there's a huge void that must be filled. And this void must be filled by you, with you, and for you. It's when you're gonna need to journal. You're gonna need to meditate, see a therapist. You're gonna have to heal childhood wounds. You're gonna have to watch videos and read. You're gonna have sleepless nights. You're gonna have nights when you're not going to do anything but cry and wail. And maybe you'll experience the angry stage. But what you will understand is this is the healing path. The healing path is not linear. It will take time. It will take a lot of time. But in your time, you will heal if you utilize the tools that I provide for you here on the channel. And if you utilize the wisdom that's in the comments on the community. But this will take time, and the void is it's gonna feel almost as if life has stopped. There's no longer drama, there's no longer chaos and manipulation, and now what you have is silence. And now your whole support system has been blown up. This is what I call a part of the void. I call it the Cocoon of Boundaries. This is when you really need to going to slow your life down and understand that where you are is where you're supposed to be, although it won't feel that way. It will feel like you want to still be with the narcissist or with those familiar people from the past, but no, those people didn't serve you. Many of them were flying monkeys or enablers or drinking the Kool-Aid of the narcissist. That's why they didn't check in on you. But breaking the trauma bond and breaking the unfamiliar is something you will do and you must do, and usually it's done in the void. This is where you're gonna have to put yourself back together. You're gonna have to practice radical acceptance and understand that that relationship wasn't what you thought it was what it was. And once you wrap your head around what radical acceptance is, and that yes, the narcissist was not who they claimed to be, and yes, they are wearing a mask even as I'm creating this video, and yes, they can go slither away onto the new supply so effortlessly because they don't care about anybody, which included you, and certainly me. When you wrap your head around all these things and so many more, then you start to really get light bulb moments, and you say, wait a minute, what? That was gaslighting? That was the smear campaign. Oh, that's what the silent treatment was. Oh, that's what blame shifting was. See, you're gonna have to learn the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle, and this will serve you. It's something you didn't want to have to learn, but then again, you didn't want to have to be in the narcissistic relationship, but you were, and now you need to learn it to heal. And to heal properly, you're gonna have to really slow your life down and understand that everybody is not who they appear to be, and the narcissist is at the top of that list. So going back to where it all started, where were you? Were you in your town that you were born and raised? Were you born into the narcissistic relationship? Was it a romantic interest? Was it your friend? Was it a colleague, a coworker? Who was the narcissist? Did you ever really know them? And think about how many things you did for that person and how little you received in return. You see, the narcissist is a shapeshifter. They're a master manipulator, and they will say anything they want to get what they want from anybody. And they will paint the narrative, whichever way they want to paint it, to also get whatever they want, or to have people believing a certain thing. That's what the smear campaign is. The smear campaign is when the narcissist is telling flat out lies about you, and they're spreading these lies throughout the city, town, internet, whatever. And these lies they're hoping are gonna get more and more oxygen. And then boom, you're gonna defend them, and then you're gonna give it even more oxygen. That's why you do nothing with the smear campaign. The path is to let the smear campaign burn itself out and let all the flying monkeys and enablers and people that the narcissist surrounds themselves with figure it out for themselves, that the narcissist is just that, a narcissist. Now, they may not know the name or the term, although they could, because in this year, a lot of people are getting the wisdom. But the point being is they understand that something's off with this person. There is one common denominator in the narcissistic relationship, and it is the narcissist. So many times the narcissist, when they're entering a new relationship, they will paint their past relationships in a negative light. Example, let's say the narcissist was married 3 times and they had 3 other romantic interests, so a total of 6. Well, they will blame all the past romantic relationships, their partners, on the ending of the relationship. You see, the narcissist will not be accountable. They will not ever take blame for anything because they can't in their tiny little pea brain. It would hurt too much to actually be authentic and to be introspect and to be accountable. That's why they always paint the narrative of the former relationships that have blown. They blame the person that is not even around to defend themselves, that they were the reason the relationship ended. But what we are now learning is the common denominator is the narcissist. So they are the person who has the loudest voice because the other partners or spouses aren't around to defend themselves. But think about how many times the narcissist would paint other people in a negative light. Well, think of the source. Where is it coming from? It's coming from a place of disgust, disdain, manipulation, distrust, if I didn't say that. It's coming from a place of toxicity. And that is what the narcissist wants to do. They want to spew out toxicity, and they want to steal your beautiful, bright, shining light and trade places with you. They want to keep you existing in that low vibrational quagmire state where they exist, and they want to elevate themselves through your beautiful, bright, shining light and your energy and your power, and they want to rise higher than you. And that is what they do. That is what they accomplish until when? Until they don't, and you reclaim your power back, and you finally go no contact, etc. Then the narcissist becomes really small, and they become lower than a blade of grass below your shoe. And you elevate higher than the sun, the moon, and the stars. And my hope is you either have or you will reach the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, where you no longer care about the narcissist or people from that period of time. Now, all these things I'm sharing with you go back when you first met the narcissist. You were definitely one of these 3 people, or all 3. First, you were vulnerable. Second of all, you were naive. And third of all, you were trusting. You were either one or all of those things, because you had not encountered a narcissist in the past, probably. Or two, you didn't know what narcissism was. Or three, you believed that everybody thought the way you thought and that people were like-minded. Now, these are all challenging pills to swallow, but now we understand that not everyone thinks the way we think. Not everyone is an empath. Not everyone is kind and loving. Not everybody has the other person's best interest at heart. And now, post-narcissistic relationship, once we've healed or we're well on the healing path, now we really do have boundaries. We can say no, the strongest word in the English language. And remember, when you say no to something or someone, you are saying yes to yourself. The next thing is we are not so trusting. So many of us coming out of the narcissistic relationship won't trust one person for a period of time. Some people for a really long period of time. And you may say, well, that's really rough. How can you not trust anybody? Well, if you have to ask that question, you have not been in a narcissistic relationship. The good news is, as time passes and as you heal and you really make progress on the healing path, you will begin to trust again. You will begin to trust people again. However, you will now pay close attention to their actions. Do their actions match their words? And if they don't, it is goodbye. If they do, well, then we can continue the relationship and move slowly and see how things go. That's what we do. We test the temperatures of these people and of relationships. And the last thing I'll share is naive. You were naive. I was naive. And that's not our fault. The thing is that we were born in an abundant fashion. We were born thinking that we wanted to accomplish great things on the planet, and other people did have our best interest at heart. We now know that not everyone does. Many people are envious and jealous, and other people want to be us. And the narcissist, again, is at the top of that list. But now that we've healed, or we're well on the healing path and we're putting ourselves back together, we understand that we come first, second, and third. And we will no longer tolerate toxicity. We will no longer be in communication with energy vampires. We will no longer drop what we are doing to serve somebody else just because they asked us to and just because perhaps we could do it. You see, we've become the educated empath, and the educated empath is a pretty sight to see. It's a person who knows who they are, who has healed, who has risen through the ashes like a phoenix and put themselves back together. This is a person who is now in this third version of themselves, the strongest, most galvanized version of ourselves known to humankind. And that is either where you are or where you will get to be once you actually slow your life down and drown out the narcissist. Remember, going no contact is the path. Before I close the video, remember this one, that you met the narcissist, you were in the relationship, and you did what you did. You didn't know what you know. And the narcissist knew everything. They had a huge advantage in that relationship until you got that needle in a haystack, until you figured out that you were in a narcissistic relationship. Once you get that needle in a haystack and you process things and you are authentic and honest with yourself and you practice radical acceptance, then you understand, yes, I am stronger than I know. Yes, I will continue to move forward. Yes, I will continue to become awakened and aware, educated and empowered. And yes, the narcissist cannot do anything for me. They can only shapeshift and try to change the mask they super glue to their face. And that the narcissist is all over the planet, but they will not have access to me. At the whiff of toxicity or the scent of toxicity or the sound of toxicity, it is hasta la vista, baby. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. God bless you all. I love you. And understand where it all started. Maybe it was at a mutual friend's birthday party. Maybe it was when you went to university day one in biology class. Maybe it was when you started your new job and you were in a cubicle sitting next to somebody. Maybe it was your boss. Maybe it was a person who was providing a service for you. I hear this one frequently, that the narcissist is actually a handyman. And they went into your house to fix a pipe or to fix a cabinet or something, and next thing you know, that person was sizing up you in your apartment, and they were looking all around, seeing what needed alleged help, wink, wink. And then that they came back the next day or a couple weeks later, and that became a friendship, and next thing you know, that turned into something else. And I've heard that exact story, different versions of it, way more than I care to hear, but this is how the narcissist infiltrates people's lives. And if you want me to drop a video exclusively on the narcissistic handyman, believe me, I can do that in a moment. Everyone, I love you all. God bless you, and I will talk to you tomorrow. All right, bye.